Welcome back to TCO Studios. The Vikings are looking to get their first win against a Tennessee Titans team that's 2-0 for the first time since 2008. Kickoff, 12 p.m. Central Time on CBS. And the man calling the game is the Hall of Famer that joins me today, Mr. James Lofton. James, how's it going?
It's going well. I always love it when we start to relate historical terms to games. And you go back to 2008 or you go back to 1995 and how many times the teams have squared off.
Yep.
That stuff's important, but what really counts is this season, this game, this week.
Mm-hmm.
And you will hear both these coaches talk about the fact that 0-2, 2-0, that doesn't matter because Sunday you play just one game.
One game, and the Vikings are looking to get that one win this week. Speaking about this matchup, what stands out to you about this Vikings-Titans game?
Well, I had the Titans last week, and an anomaly in this league is a huge running back. Derrick Henry, 6'3", 245 pounds, fast. He has records in high school that you wouldn't believe. You'd go, who did he play against? Well, he played against guys that were scared to tackle him. Well, what did he do when he got to college? He won the Heisman Trophy. And then we look back to what he started doing in the middle of last season and through the playoff run. And we really stand up and notice when somebody has a great playoff run like Derrick Henry did. What did we start calling him? King Henry.
King Henry.
Pretty good name for a running back.
So what constitutes as a good game for the Vikings run defense against Derrick Henry?
I think if you can hold him to under 4 yards per carry, that if you can keep him from breaking off one of his patented 25, 30-yard runs, I think that's a good outing. He's been slowed down early this season and slowed down to the point where he's only leading the NFL in yards gained rushing.
Yep.
But he hasn't had those big, big runs that we normally see him have.
Yep, and the Jacksonville Jaguars did a great job of holding him to 3.6 yards per carry. But moving on to the offensive side of the ball, we all know the Vikings run a West Coast-style offense. The guy who made it popular, your college coach, Bill Walsh. And just speaking of Bill Walsh and that coaching tree of the West Coast scheme, outside zone runs, timing, play-action passing. Gary Kubiak is, under that Bill Walsh coaching tree, the offensive coordinator here. But how do the Vikings find success in that style of offense this year?
Well, we've seen him do it in the past because it had been an element that everybody uses. There are terminologies and phrases and techniques that are used throughout the league that Bill Walsh incorporated with what he brought from Cincinnati to the San Diego Chargers for 1 year as an assistant coach and then to Stanford University before he went on to more greatness with the San Francisco 49ers. So there's a sprinkling of that all around the league, very detailed in their approaches. And when you talk to Kirk Cousins, he's very detailed in his own preparation each and every week. He says, I had a coach who used to tell me, man is a creature of habit. And you really are. You think about the fact, pull out your driveway, you're going to the freeway, and if all of a sudden you had an errand to go the opposite way and you aren't paying attention, all of a sudden you're on the freeway, you're going, I was supposed to go to the hardware store. So man being a creature of habit, a lot of these West Coast systems, creatures of habit.
What stands out to you about this game other than Derrick Henry and the Vikings run defense?
Well, I think you have to get back to being Minnesota Vikings and what's their formula for playing good football. And their formula is running the football. You have a coach in Mike Zimmer who's a defensive-minded coach who wants to run and stop the run. So I think the Vikings have to use Dalvin Cook as a running back with a lot of touches. When you think about basketball, he would need to have the ball in his hands most of the game. He'd be the guy that you'd go to in the first quarter, the second quarter, third quarter, and the fourth quarter. And if they can get that and sustain drives, that's important. They haven't been able to do that other than their initial drives in the first two ball games.
Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill, 1 interception in 7 games. He's finding his confidence. And then the Titans defense is starting to come into its own. But switching the focus to us, how do the Vikings beat the Titans this weekend?
Well, it's old school football. And as I was pulling into downtown, there was a Grant Drive. And I asked the driver, I said, is that Bud Grant Drive? And he laughed and said, no, but it probably should be. And if you were to talk to Bud Grant, he would tell you, run and stop the run. Win the takeaway, keep away battle. And you got a great chance to win the ball game because after that, the players are kind of equal. They're all in the NFL. They're all great players. But if you can do those two things, run and stop the run, win the takeaway, keep away battle, got a great chance to win the ball game.
Kickoff 12 p.m. on CBS. James Lofton's calling the game. Thank you, Mr. Lofton.
You bet, Gabe. Thank you.